Welcome to the Bold Analysis. On behalf of my production team, my family, the Bold community, the Bold network, I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. Thank you guys. You have been amazing team behind me. You've always been on my back, be it on this channel, on what we do and how we support the community. I'm just so grateful to you people. And I have a message from Evangelist Ndii. He shared and said that Mr. Kevin, as the year ends, we reflect on our hits and misses and our plans that we've achieved. As you assess your relationship with your plans and targets, as we walk to 2024, can you also assess your relationship with God? That is the message from Evangelist. I decided to share it. Now, I'm holding a newspaper here, one that I normally just pass through. And there is this article. Statehouse grapples with internal divisions. Statehouse grapples with internal divisions. And for better part of this year, our channel, we have been critical on policies that are coming out of Kenya Kwanza administration. And we know that in the leadership structure, some men and women behind these policies are actually the team posturing as advisors. So, to my surprise, this article is opening a lid on camps and internal fight backs between people that are supposed to be advisors and what exactly is the way government is handling that team. They're saying the State House advisors are involved in a bitter scuffle and publicly they seem to be reading from different scripts. According to the reports, there are a bloated number of advisors. Many have even been reduced to social media influencers, TV panelists working from their cars, just from one office to the other, carrying their briefcase, and they do not even have an official office in their respective dockets. Many are working from their cars. They are scattered all over Nairobi city, with David Ndii, the most vocal one, actually established in some office in Westlands. Others are in Arboretum, while a few are in Statehouse, and others are in NHIF building. And when I read these stories, that what the editor is painting is a picture of a team of briefcase advisors who are scattered all over and are not working in synergy. Because the emergence of briefcase advisors is coming out as one of the key issues, the lethal thing that has stagnated the Ruto administration. This emergence is actually behind the growing wage bill, and they've turned into the new modern day brokers in Ruto administration. So I want us to look at three camps that have emerged, especially on this war on advisors. Number one, when industrialization CS Adan Canaan was picked to take charge, he's the only cabinet secretary that had worked, him with Monica Juma, that had worked with Uhuru Kenyatta, that was picked. And through an executive order, he was given that cabinet portfolio. And when he was given that cabinet portfolio, he had been picked from the Economic Council that was being led by David Ndii. So when he was picked, remember he was a member of the Economic Council led by David Ndii. Then he was picked and promoted to industrialization CS and given a full cabinet portfolio. So what happened here? A man who was junior to David Ndii, under David Ndii, or rather colleagues to David Ndii, was elevated to a full cabinet portfolio and even given an office in Statehouse. So Aden Canaan is from the Somali, and I don't mean to profile the CS on that ground. I'm just pointing out what, of course, is the truth. And while Aden Canaan was picked, there is also, coincidentally also, Hussein Mohammed. His Statehouse communication portfolio was also advanced, and he's in charge of so many other responsibilities and so other roles under the communication docket. And the writer here is pointing out a Somali gang that has emerged in Statehouse, because if you look at that Aden Canaan and you look at you look at Hussein Mohammed, that team seems to have emerged. And in just noting how things have crossed wrongly, is that David Ndii, who is also from Gikuyu, the Kikuyu camp, has been recently attacked the communication team, Statehouse communication team, in what is seen as a direct jibe hitting at Hussein Mohammed about reporting a cabinet report. And I just want to quote what has been written here, and this has been an excerpt from a tweet he made. Ndii took an issue with the journalists for reporting the wrong figure, saying that 400 million was in Kenyan shillings and not euros. So in a tweet that he flagged off the communication team, he said, "These are shillings. Kenyan journalists are atrocious at reporting figures even when they work for the government. Even the greediest eaters aren't this ambitious." And Kenyans were asking that, Mr. Ndii, you work in Ruto administration, and if this is a miscommunication, or this communication was done poorly, then what was the right thing to do? Maybe we'll just pick a call and call the director of communications at Statehouse, because I do believe that he can easily access him or her, and point out this, so that this is ironed out behind the curtains. But he decided to wash the dirty linen in public, and quite many people did not take so much cognizance with that. Now, so Ndii presents a stream of economic advisor on that end. There is recently, remember the Ngunyi. When Ngunyi crossed over to the other side, crossed over to Kenya Kwanza, he was not welcomed by lawyer Ahmed Nasir, who is also a Somali from the Somali space. So the advisor, remember, Ngunyi was an advisor under Uhuru Kenyatta. Not many people even realized. Many people just realized later. So a portfolio that might have been given on advisory on Kenya Kwanza, and you could see him continuing to do what he used to do under Uhuru Kenyatta, supporting Uhuru Kenyatta on something, he's still doing the same under William Ruto. And that is an axis of Kikuyu axis in the Statehouse. Now that team is disseminated, and despite of them trying to, they are supposed to get feed from the communication, there seems not to be synergy, and this can be seen publicly by how they make controversial statements and then come up and start correcting. So that is gang. Now, what this report is saying is that the Somali gang come second to Kalenjin. Of course, the head of public services from Ruto's backyard, and they have unlimited access to the president. So some of those three axes, the Somali gang, the Kalenjin gang, and the Kikuyu gang, those three camps are actually at having bitter fight with each other around the Statehouse corridors. And so, do you even realize that there was the time William Ruto went to Kisumu and he attacked Rigathi Gachagua, saying that it is another backward and stupid to talk about shareholding. And then the next day, there was some cabinet event, there was some signing, some bill to be signed in Statehouse. And a video was leaked about how Rigathi Gachagua, the body language of Rigathi Gachagua in Statehouse during that event. I wish I would get that video to play it for you. So when that video was played, it raised eyebrows, because people were then feeling like, okay, there is a camp within Statehouse that is marveling at the narrative of Ruto, Rigathi fallout. So that is how things have been. And that fallout has largely been explained on two grounds. Number one is on advisors not even having offices. They are not even under the same roof. So some are working through cars, some don't even have in their cars, some don't even have offices, and they're getting public money and all that. So there is no synergy. And number two is that the camps have been emerging, and then if you have all those not working together, then you don't know which one does Ruto take an advice from. Now, I want to interpret this internal Statehouse fallout because it is something that is very delicate for William Ruto administration, and I believe that is something that he will maybe take so much keen interest on. I am seeing the emergence of Briefcase advisors as just another layer of deal breakers that just have privileged access to the bosses. The fellows that we have employed as advisors are just people that are posturing for deals. And that is why I can tell you, if the lead on scandals that have been mentioned lately on Kenya Kwanza can come out, then you can really be shocked. You may want to know who is benefiting from G2G, who would advise the president on so, and then who is the beneficiary. Who is benefiting from the new health reform? Who is benefiting from housing levy? You will want to understand that, and you realize that we just have a pool of brokers, because if government is in need of these people, why would you employ someone who is just operating from a car? Someone who don't need to have an office. Of course, yes, an advisor is a consultant, according to me. And it is very true that these advisory roles, not many times they're given on competitive basis, because many times they don't even advise, they don't even do any advisory. The only thing that happens is these are just political cronies. They are positions created just to reward cronies, even though the constitution envisioned that only the deputy president, the president, and cabinet secretaries should have advisors, and should not be, I think a minimum of two. A minimum and maximum of two. Not a minimum, but I think a maximum of two. So that is what the constitution envisioned. Now, if they're not even having offices, then we just have a pool of brokers. Number two, Ruto intentionally, knowing, or maybe just ignorantly, but I think he's knowing, could we be staring at just ghost workers ballooning the wage bill? When you look at President's itinerary when he's flying to foreign countries and going to sign those deals and those debts, he's accompanied by a pool of advisors. People who are supposed to be, security expert advisor, economic advisor, agriculture and all that, international police advisor and all that. These advisors, from this article, we have I think 50% are not needed. If only one is in Statehouse, one is there, they're not coordinated. If they're not coordinated and they work under the same anchor of achieving the bottom-up economic transformation model, if indeed that there is something like that, I'm not sure whether that Ruto still believes in it, then surely we don't need them. And we are ballooning wage bill for no reason. Why should taxpayers continue paying people that are not even in the first place needed? Number three, the three camps in Statehouse points out to Ruto's inside scheme to tame Kikuyu influence, or rather Kikuyu infiltrating the Ruto power. And there is no other explanation apart from insecurity of tenure. That people just feel that I am insecure. I cannot, you know very well that it's not guaranteed that Rigathi is going to be Ruto's deputy. Of course, it is not a secret. It's not a guarantee that Rigathi is going to be Ruto's deputy. So we will not want that to happen, and we know that incumbent president will always want to hit on his deputy, will not want to be at par with his deputy. That's something that I think it's some of unwritten laws in governance, especially in the Kenya. Number 3, then narrow consultations on different entities, different ministries, is actually the root cause of these unstable policies that Kenya Kwanza churned out in 2023. Yes, and I want to mention, I've been repeating, Kenyans can't understand why I don't need a house. I have a house that I've already built, or I have a mortgage, but I have to pay a housing levy of 1.3 or 1.5% from my salary to go into building houses that I don't even know who is going to be the landlord. I don't know who is going to collect the rent. I don't know where the profit is going to, and I don't need that house, and there is no guarantee that I'll be even given my money. You know, people don't still understand. It's simple. I don't understand why I'm being told that I just have to give my money, and how an employer have to match. The rationale of employer matching his contribution with my contribution in housing levy, you know, it's a tax. You know, it's a tax that is matched. I'm deducted, and it's a levy. You know, deductions are supposed to be NHIF. I wish they would have said that I give 300 for NHIF, then my employer deducts 300, also gives 300. It would make sense. But housing levy, people still don't understand why a company has to do that. You know, churning out some very unpopular policies. And that is something that I think, as we walk to 2023, Mr. President, if you don't need these fellows, why would taxpayers pay advisors that are not even needed in the first place? That's the big question tonight. Yes, so we are shooting this video from home. East-West home is best. Yeah, I know it's festive season, so you also plan to come this side. I want to say thank you for those who heed the adopt a family. Yeah, I mean, I decided to adopt. Yeah, outside my circle, I decided to adopt 2. You remember the late Sarah? Yeah, so the father has been here. He comes from around this place, so we decided to pay a visit, and of course, yeah. So we'll adopt a family and continue supporting that. Thank you.